and gentlemen, we respectfully ask that you stand for our flag salute and remain standing for the national anthem, performed by students from around the city. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say can you see
by the dawn's early light
what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming,
whose broad stripes and bright stars
through the perilous fight
o'er the ramparts we watch
were so gallantly streaming,
and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air,
gave through the night that our flag was still there.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome everyone to Lynn Classical's graduation ceremony for the class of 2020. Hasn't this been a crazy year? But today we are grateful to everyone that supported us. We appreciate all of their effort to get us where we are today. Today we also prove to anyone who has ever doubted us that we alone can accomplish anything we put our minds to. Though we are not together for this day, we share in this accomplishment. I am proud to have served as your president because I believe that we are the best. At this time, our principal, Mrs. Dunn, would like to say a few words.
Good morning and congratulations to the class of 2020. First, let me say that it has been an honor to work with the senior class over the past 4 years, first as your assistant principal and now as your principal. It has been my distinct pleasure and privilege to watch you grow into young adults who possess so many wonderful qualities that will serve you well in your future. One of those qualities is showing gratitude. So in honor of that, I would like to thank all the families and friends that have supported and shaped these scholars. I will be forever grateful for your generosity in sharing your students with us. Graduates, make sure you recognize the people in your life that helped you get to this point. This moment is a culmination of 13 years of learning that has taken determination, grit, and effort, along with the support of your family, to accomplish this great achievement. Over the last 4 years, you have grown and become part of our RAM fam. And as an LCHS graduate, I can tell you that this membership will go on with you into the world where I know that you will continue to make us proud. When you have a class that has accomplished so many amazing things, it can often spurn a level of competitiveness that can put people at odds. Not this class. This class is special in that as much as they have accomplished as individuals, they have consistently celebrated and looked to elevate each other's successes, which tells me that they have reached a level of community and maturity that we all strive for. The intellect, work ethic, and cumulative skills that this class possesses is reflected in the many amazing destinations like Princeton, Dartmouth, Columbia, Brown, Cornell, MIT, Amherst, Hampshire, Notre Dame, Tufts, BC, BU, Northeastern, Holy Cross, Syracuse, WPI, and even the United States Air Force. We have students going into the armed forces to serve our country. We have students that are first generation to college. We have students that have made it through high school as unaccompanied youth and that are going on to take their next steps. We have so much to be proud of and grateful for. You are already making history as the first graduating class in over 100 years to live through a global pandemic. This has come with many challenges and for some loss, and for that I am truly sorry that you have had to face this in your young lives. Knowing me, you will not be surprised when you hear that I am pushing for you to see the unseen benefits of this situation, or the silver linings, if you will. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed how we live rapidly and dramatically, but just like any other problem or crisis, that we face, it pushes everyone to grow, to think differently, and to be innovative, to survive and flourish in this new situation. This situation has also provided us with some unique opportunities for all of us to appreciate, some silver linings that this time has provided us. You are at a pivot point where the future can take on so many new, exciting, and defining roles with all of the qualities bestowed upon you from your family's influence, the learning you've experienced with your teachers and friends, and your educational experiences that have prepared you to not only survive, but to thrive in the new world that we live in. The first of these unseen benefits is time with your families before you start your new chapter. Our regular lives often get so busy with school, work, college applications, sports, and activities that what often gets neglected is time at home with your family. Some of you that are going to be going off to college this year, this could be the last time that your family is all together in quite the same way, and it's a time to cherish. Family can be the ones you live with at home, the people who are close to you that have supported you, and it could even be your Ram fam that has made it a priority to stay connected to you virtually during this time. This brings me to my second silver lining, innovative connections. The skills we are building now to stay connected to our friends, families, and neighbors will allow us to make meaningful connections all across the world. We have the means and the impetus to truly become a global community. This opens up so many doors for you all, giving you the ability to stretch your wings and see the world, but keep connected to the people at home, even your grandparents, assuming. Counting life's blessings. This situation has caused so many of us to take stock in what is really important: our health, our family, our friends, satisfying work, and time spent with those you care about. If these lessons can stay with us when we are back together physically, then this disease could have a long-lasting and positive effect. Another important outcome is elevating the real heroes. We have lived in a society that has often put celebrities and entertainers as their heroes. This situation has shown light on the grocery workers, manufacturers, educators, first responders, doctors, and nurses that allow us to live our lives the way we do. If these ideals remain, and we come out of this situation valuing everyone's unique and important roles in our society equally, our communities will be strengthened along with our values. Along those same lines, we are seeing everyday people becoming heroes in the community. The news is filled with ordinary people doing extraordinary acts to help others. People donating time, resources, and support to those in need and showing real concern for those in their community and around the globe that need help. Time for reflection. When people are scared or faced with great change, as we are now, it forces us to reflect on who we are. What role do I play in the community, our country, or this world? Ask ourselves the question, are we doing all we can to make our world a better place? Finally, we are all poised for action or to start anew. Your generation is already taking on the hard questions, making inequities visible and working diligently to disrupt them. Looking at the health of our world and the people across the globe. This pandemic has given us the push to widen our lens. Your time at Classical has given you the tools to start your journey into this new world. If you combine that with the lessons or silver linings from this pandemic and continue to grow, as I know you all will, you will be unstoppable. So I am wishing you great joys during the good times and silver linings during the challenging times. I am so excited to see what you will all accomplish and experience in the future. You will always be part of our family, the Ram Fam. Congratulations, class of 2020.
The class of 2020 would like to recognize all of those who are heading to the military. We thank you for your choice.
Hello everyone, my name is Major Joel Bernazzani. It is my pleasure today to represent the United States Air Force and my privilege to present an appointment to the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, Colorado. This appointment is going to a very deserving young man and is the equivalent of a 4-year full-ride scholarship at a top-tier university. Appointments to the Air Force Academy are extremely competitive, with more than 10,000 students applying each year. The Air Force Academy accepts only the best of the best. This year, only 1,150 were appointed to enter the Academy, so you can see how truly outstanding this young man is. Cadets will join the long blue line, becoming outstanding leaders of character in the world's greatest Air Force. To develop as leaders, cadets take part in a wide variety of programs, including flying aircraft, free-fall parachuting, competitive athletics, military training, and foreign exchange programs. At the same time, they will attend classes ranging from engineering to history and political science. At the end of 4 years, they will have earned a Bachelor of Science and will be commissioned as second lieutenants in the U.S. Air Force. For graduating cadets, the end of school is only the beginning of their adventure. Graduates of the Air Force Academy have gone on to be Rhodes Scholars, titans of industry, politicians, generals, heroes, athletes, and astronauts. I can't wait to see what great things this young man will do. So without further ado, on behalf of the President of the United States, Kyle McCarthy is hereby appointed as a cadet in the United States Air Force Academy Class of 2024. Congratulations, Kyle.
We would like to recognize all the members of the Class of 2020 who received academic honors through the National Honor Society, the Seal of Biliteracy, and the Early College Program. Congratulations.
We would like to acknowledge our gratitude to some very special people during graduation this year. The Superintendent of Lynn Public Schools and my guy, Dr. Patrick Tutwiler.
Greetings, soon-to-be graduates. Class of 2020. I know. For those of you who were familiar with my face prior to all of this look might be a little jarring. You're used to this. Just saying. I digress. I know that we're celebrating this year in a way, quite frankly, that has never happened previously. It's different, but make no mistake, this event is just as momentous, just as meaningful. You're here, you made it, and I am so incredibly proud of all of you. We find ourselves in unique and challenging times. I'm pretty sure that you hear the word uncertain in relation to what lies ahead as frequently as I do. I can imagine the kinds of feelings that evokes, especially at a time in your life that's all about the path you've been paving for yourself during your time as Lynn Public School students, and where you intend that path to lead. But there's another word I'd like for you to hear louder than the rest as you prepare for the next step in your life and steps beyond: perseverance. Where there's uncertainty, fear, delay in planned success, it is even more important to persevere. Most important is to know how. While this time is unique, I doubt very much that this is the first time that many of you have had to persevere. And I can say with certainty it won't be the last. So while I have some last moments with you, allow me a quick one to share with you a lesson that I learned on how to persevere. It was the summer of 2000. I just graduated with a master's degree in education from Harvard University. To make ends meet over the summer, I washed cars at a local rental car place and took a job working at a summer program for at-risk youth in Boston. Earning next to nothing but good work, helping good kids. I hadn't yet gotten my first teaching job, but I was pretty confident that I would get one by summer's end. I had a plan, and things seemed to be going pretty smoothly. I think we now all know what can happen when things seem to be going pretty well. When you least expect it, your life can shift directions. On a July afternoon, I got a frantic call from my partner. Apparently, an apartment caught fire on the first floor of our building. Not only was our apartment a complete loss, the release of smoke throughout destroyed all of our clothing and all of our furniture. A complete loss. Thankfully, no one was injured, but we were in trouble. Neither one of us had a real job. I was working the summer program and my partner was a full-time law student. We had enough saved for our plan, but not enough for this very unexpected rainy day. Neither one of us had family in the area, nor did we really have family with the means to support us through this kind of thing. At the end of the day, I was homeless. In mid-August, my old apartment was declared safe for return to retrieve belongings. I went back to see if there was anything worthy of salvage. That day had to be 90, 95 degrees and extremely humid. I was hot, generally feeling hopeless and broke. As I was wrapping up, an elderly woman came from across the street and asked if I'd be so kind as to help remove an old countertop in the kitchen from her apartment, and then bring it down to the dumpster. Being the size that I am, I was used to being asked such a favor, and I was raised to respond quickly and with a yes in these kinds of situations. To lend a hand to those in need. That's a solid core value in my family. But to be perfectly honest, I was out of favors. No one had done anything for me in my crisis. At that point, I just didn't have it in me to do anything for anyone. I hesitated, and it was clearly visible to the woman. As she turned to walk away, I called after her and told her we would do it. As we carried the countertop out, my partner talked with the elderly woman. As it turned out, she had recently purchased the apartment as an investment and was looking to rent it. My partner shared our story with the woman, and in answer, the woman offered the apartment to us. Even better, she offered it to us at a rate we could afford, knowing full well she could get a lot more than what we could afford. For her, my helping her in that moment was a character check no credit check could diminish. We had a home. I think about the story a lot, and I thought about it again as I think about you. Just as you are poised to set out on your path, forged through your hard work and good character, to be met with your own fire right at the start, I wanted to share my story as a reminder to persevere, but not in the sense that we always discuss. My most important moment of perseverance was not the typical one. It was a quiet, private moment where, though I may have had every excuse to be inward looking, I let the character and goodness with which I was raised, persevere. What flowed from that moment led not only to a home and resuming the path that has led me to my presence with you today, it led to the restoration of my faith in the good that people can see in each other. So today, I implore you to persevere, graduates. What I mean the most is don't let the temptation to focus on self win out, unless the focus on self is in preparation for serving others. Graduates, identify your beliefs, your moral imperative, your desired impact on this world, and cling to them. Allow them to continue to be the foundation for your actions. Persevere in the character and goodness that got you here. Your community and the world will be all that much better because of it. Rest assured you are stronger because of this. Friends, persevere. Congratulations, class of 2020. I wish you the best as you script the next chapters of your life. Thank you.
We would also like to thank the Mayor of Lynn, the Honorable Thomas McGee, Senator Brendan Crichton, Representative Daniel Cahill, Representative Peter Capano, our Deputy Superintendents Ms. Kimberly Powers and Ms. Deborah Ruggiero, the esteemed members of the Lynn School Committee, and all our ward counselors. Thank you for your support.
Congratulations to the class of 2020. It is obvious that this year we had to do things in a different way. However, nothing can take away the importance of celebrating your accomplishments today, and I am honored to participate in this virtual graduation celebration as your mayor. I would also like to take a moment to thank and recognize your support system, the parents, teachers, coaches, family, friends, and administrative staff that have contributed to your success. I know that they are all extremely proud of you today. Graduates, this is your moment. This diploma is a testament of your hard work and a reflection of your ability to set and achieve your goals. Your high school graduation is a milestone that symbolizes your passage into adulthood. As you move on to the next chapter of your life, I hope you look back at your time at the Lynn Public Schools with fondness. Be proud of and carry on our tradition of excellence with you wherever you go. Follow the example the City of Lynn has set for all of us. Life has changes for us in the blink of an eye. We do not know what tomorrow might hold for us. An unknown author said, "On this road called life, you have to take the good with the bad, smile with the sad, love what you've got, and remember what you had. Always forgive, but never forget. Learn from your mistakes. People change. Things go wrong. But just remember, the ride goes on." You are graduating during difficult and uncertain times. I know you have missed out on many of the traditions of your senior year, but know that this experience you have endured will only make you stronger. Benjamin Franklin said, "Out of adversity comes opportunity." And I would like you to find the opportunity to lead, make a difference, and create change in the middle of this crisis. Your generation has the power to make a difference. I am inspired by the talent of our graduates, and I have faith that you will all go out there and have a profound impact on the world. In the wise words of Maya Angelou, we may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. Our city, state, and country have been through very challenging times before, and we have emerged from them stronger, with a new generation of leaders who learned from past mistakes and did better. You are that next group of leaders. Be a dreamer and use your voice to make positive change. I want to strongly encourage you to stay civically engaged in the democratic process on the local, state, and the federal level. As is evident right now, the issues of today directly impact those you love and those that you care about. In the words of President Obama, keep exploring, keep dreaming, keep asking why. Don't settle for what you already know. Never stop believing in the power of your ideas, your imagination, your hard work to change the world. So as you celebrate today and look forward to tomorrow, remember that no dream is impossible, that each and every one of you has the opportunity to do amazing things with your future and with our future. Congratulations again to the class of 2020.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our class salutatorian, Eamon LaRusi.
First of all, I would like to thank all the Lynn Classical High School faculty who invested their time and efforts in both our educational enrichment and personal growth. I could easily stand here and explain the significance of every single staff member that I have encountered throughout my 4-year journey. However, for the sake of time, I would like to highlight the following few for not only putting up with my horrible jokes, but for actually playing a crucial role in the development of our maturity and character. Mr. Earl, the one who not only always had a meme to show us, but also the one who gets us through the mornings we dread most. Mr. McQueen, the one who not only taught us to question everything, but to perfect our British accents as well. Mark the Man Chesley and Joe Money Baglieri, the ones who we not only look at as role models, but also the ones we consider to be genuine friends. Mrs. Lander, the one who not only taught us the importance of integrity, but also the importance of wearing your lanyard. Mrs. Dulis, the one who not only introduced me to stats, but also the one who introduced me to bachata as well. Mrs. Hanson, the one who not only always kept her door open, but also was also the one who gave us the best relationship advice. Mrs. Savink, the one who not only taught us to love our classroom environment, but to love Mondays even more. Mr. Hayward, the one who not only let me steal his tennis balls, but the one who trained me to be the mediocre tennis player I am today. Mrs. Dupre, the one who not only agreed to call me Eamon the Stud LaRusi, but also the one who provided the countless resources that propelled all of our academic careers. And last but certainly not least, Mrs. Gilly, aka Mama Gills, the one who is not only the most passionate and caring teacher we have all met, but also the one who was a second mother to me throughout the last 4 years. I'd also like to give a special shout out to my closest friends, who I'm excited to end this journey with. It is important for me to look back and reflect on high school, and it is impossible for me to reflect without their presence in mind. James, the Italian stallion Petipas, the one who I instantly clicked with despite meeting him a year ago. We shared every precious moment over our senior year. Hanifa, the mad scientist Maswali, the one who makes me take 3 Advils a day, but finds a way to help me whenever I dig myself in a hole, the younger sister I never had. And Ed, the Cuban Missile Cespedes, the one who never fails to help, the one who is always there, and the one who my mom likes best. From our 7 a.m. school carpools to our 3 a.m. sneaking out missions, the memories with this guy are endless. These people have all individually shaped my personal and academic growth throughout my 4 years of high school, and for that reason, I am sending each and every one of them an invitation to my wedding 40 years in advance. My level of comfort with these teachers only reflects the type of amazing, accepting people they truly are, which makes the ending of this storybook journey one of more emotion. These 4 years, for all of us, have been a roller coaster ride of emotions. We got through the sharp turns, twists, and loops, but now that the ride is over, all I want to do is ride again. We should be proud of ourselves and what we accomplished, and this is a huge milestone for all of us. Class of 2020, we did it, baby. Also, one more thing. I know this speech is supposed to be about the past and all the amazing things we as a class have accomplished and experienced, but if I was to just sit here and not address what is going on in the world right now, it will be doing a disjustice and service to both my Lynn Classical fellow students and teachers, as they have taught me to to speak up for what I believe in. It is dire that such a horrific matter be addressed. On May 25th, George Floyd was taken from us too soon for literally an act no one deserves to lose their life over. Countless of more Black African Americans have and are still currently experiencing racism everywhere they go. We live in an unfair world, where the color of your skin determines the span of your life and how people treat you. Countless of other Black men and women have to walk every day with fear of losing their lives and their family members and loved ones solely because of their skin color. It shouldn't be like that. Black men and women shouldn't have to fear their lives every time they step foot outside. We should learn to love each other despite how different we look from each other. As young kids who just stepped foot out of high school, the world is our oyster. We as a collective whole can make this world better. I challenge all my fellow classmates and the whole LPS school system to speak up against injustice. It is our job as the future generation to pave the way we want the world to be. So please, class of 2020, it is important to recognize your privileges if you have it, and use it to speak up against injustice. Even if you personally were never treated in a bad way, we have the chance to change and educate the world for the better if we just speak up against injustice. Thank you, and God bless the souls of all those who were taken from us too early. Black Lives Matter, and please do not forget to vote, vote, vote.
We'll now hear a few words from our class valedictorian, Jason Garcia.
Dear fellow graduates, I take this opportunity to address you all with much gratitude. Before anything else, I must say, congratulations, class of 2020. We finally made it. All the time and effort we have committed to our education has culminated on this day of extreme significance. The diploma we will receive is symbolic of our dedication and our yearning for education. First of all, I'd like to express appreciation for the teachers and administration at Lynn Classical. As students, we have to acknowledge the guidance we receive from our teachers and how lucky we are to have adults that devote themselves to our success. I like to think of our teachers as gardeners, as they help cultivate the wisdom we have and often foster confidence in us by encouraging questions. Whether we enjoyed our time in classes or not, I believe it is fair to say that there was at least one teacher in our school that impacted us positively over the last 4 years. When I try to encapsulate our time here at Lynn Classical, there are a couple things that come to mind. Diversity and unity. Every year, from the Asian American Club putting on an amazing show, the outstanding presentations for Hispanic Heritage Month and Black History Month, all the way to the daily cafeteria setting, diversity was evident. It is an honor to be graduating with such a supporting and inclusive class. Unity within our class was also apparent. Many of us have built close-knit bonds with people in our grade that will be everlasting. One of my favorite events was the yearly pep rally. It was a clear display of our camaraderie. We, the seniors, always tried to be the loudest group in the gym. You would be mistaken if you thought we weren't victorious. The people that are graduating with me today are all distinct individuals. Over the years, I have derived inspiration from observing people in my classes. It's almost inconceivable, watching them handle their responsibilities in and out of school, seeing how creative and talented they are. These people have spent their past 4 years participating in activities ranging from football to drama club, executing their respective roles with such passion. I hope that I can emulate that as I continue my path. Whether you decide to continue your education or not, remember to retain that same passion in every one of your endeavors. When you are confronted with an obstacle, remember that where there is a will, there will always be a way. I can confidently say that I am an advocate for everyone's success. As the title valedictorian suggests, I must deliver a farewell to our class. I would like to leave you with one of my favorite quotes by Robert Frost. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. This speaks volumes about the importance of innovation in our society. I urge you all to spark the change you desire, to emphasize those issues that should be dealt with, and most importantly, to propose new methods to deal with these circumstances. As we embark on the next stage of our lives, we must not be afraid to be different. After all, there is beauty in originality. The actions we take today will influence how we live in the future. In a related manner, it is imperative that we use this platform to address a prevalent societal issue. We as a community have to show our support to our Black brothers and sisters as we mourn the loss of another innocent black man to police brutality. It is time that we wake up, acknowledge our privilege, and use it to help those in need. Black Lives Matter, and rest in peace to George Floyd. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2020.
The class of 2020 kindly asks you to give a huge round of applause to our class advisors, Ms. Perham and Mr. Washington. Thank you for all your help and support during this strange and interesting year.
Melissa Pierre DeShellis was born and raised in West Lynn. She attended Our Lady of the Assumption School in Lynnfield, Massachusetts before graduating from Lynn Classical High School in 1998. While at Classical, she was a member of the softball, basketball, soccer, swimming, and tennis teams, the National Honor Society, and was her class secretary/treasurer. She graduated from the pre-medicine program at the College of the Holy Cross with a bachelor's in biology in 2003. She has worked as a clinical trial coordinator at Harvard Medical School and several Boston hospitals prior to accepting her current position, managing clinical trials at the Spalding New England Spinal Cord Injury Center. A slide into home plate while playing softball as a Ram destroyed her foot and ankle, which years later eventually resulted in a below-the-knee amputation. Melissa went on to train as a sponsored adaptive athlete at the Adaptive Training Foundation in Dallas, Texas. She is ranked 8th internationally as a lower limb impaired adaptive CrossFitter and has qualified for this year's Adaptive CrossFit Games. She is certified as an adaptive exercise specialist, CrossFit coach, and personal trainer, training other adaptive athletes. She is an amputee, peer visitor, and a national support group leader for the Amputee Coalition. Recently, Melissa founded and directs the nonprofit Adaptively Abled Amputees, whose mission is to support, educate, and inspire those living with limb loss or with a physical disability to lead active and fulfilling lives. She also founded and directed Boston's very first adaptive functional fitness and holistic program, Adaptively Abled Fitness, which bridges the gap between where rehabilitation ends and an active lifestyle begins for athletes with physical disabilities. I would like to introduce our commencement speaker for today, Ms. Melissa Pierre DeShellis.
To the Lynn Classical High School class of 2020, congratulations. This truly is a commencement like no other. Seriously, did you imagine celebrating this monumental moment via Zoom? I sure didn't imagine giving this speech via Zoom. I'm a little zoomed out these days, if you know what I mean. You have dreamed for a long time of proudly walking across the stage to celebrate the culmination of your first 12 years of education and all of your accomplishments with your classmates, your teachers, your family, and friends. You have visualized the flip of the tassel and the joyous toss of your cap, signifying your transition to the next step. But this year, in this very moment, you are called to be part of something bigger than commencement, bigger than anything you ever could have imagined. You are called to write the next chapter in history, the post-COVID-19 pandemic chapter, along with a global community of graduates just like you. You are the privileged, yes, I said privileged, class of 2020, the global pandemic class that will restore hope as you lead the world with your bold first steps, blazing a new path, a new way forward through uncertainty, fear, and doubt. You will show the world how to emerge stronger, braver, smarter, kinder, more resilient, and connected. Whether your next step is college, technical school, or entering the workforce, you will create new ideas, new inventions, strategies, processes, and ways of thinking that will help society adapt, rebuild, and thrive once again. Throughout your academic career thus far, You have been taught critical thinking and analytical skills that will help you solve and overcome any challenge that you are presented with. Draw upon your life experiences and lessons learned to forge a new way forward. This may seem overwhelming and a little bit scary. It is scary. I'll admit I was a little scared writing the speech this week. But what makes us courageous is acting despite the fear. I urge you not to become paralyzed by fear, pressure, and doubt. Lean into it. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Accomplished tennis champion Billie Jean King said, "Champions adjust, and pressure is privilege. When pressured, we have the privilege to rise above adversity and to accomplish the impossible." Like you, today is also a monumental moment for me. When I walked across the Lynn Classical High School stage 22 years ago, I did so with 2 legs. Let that sink in a moment. I was born with a club foot and went through many reconstructive surgeries as a child, so I graduated Lynn Classical High School with dreams of becoming a pediatric orthopedic surgeon so that I could help children born with physical disabilities. But fate made other plans for me. The journey I have traveled since that fateful day has led me down a winding and twisting path that has led me right back to this very stage. Today, 22 years later, my message to you is of grace, gratitude, and grit. My recipe for living a service-driven life full of purpose. My story starts as a runner on third base. I was a freshman starter on the varsity softball team here at Classical, and it was my first state tournament game. The next pitch dove into the dirt and bounced past the catcher. This was my opportunity to bring home the win for my team. I ran and slid as fast as my little clubbed foot would carry me. Then there was a crack that was heard throughout the ballpark. My cleat had hit the plate head on, and both of my leg bones cracked. The laces of my cleats got caught on the hooks of the shin guards of the catcher, and as we both flipped and tumbled, my foot was pulled out of the socket. As the ump yelled safe, everyone jumped up and cheered, but I lay motionless on home plate. I didn't know it at the time, but my life would forever be changed. Fast forward 8 years, after many reconstructive surgeries and procedures to treat my intolerable pain from the slide into home, I graduated from the College of the Holy Cross's pre-medicine program with a BA in biology. I became an EMT and worked at an orthopedic biomechanics lab and then a vascular biology lab at Harvard Medical School, and finally was accepted to Ross University School of Medicine, a medical school on the Caribbean island of Dominica. Less than a year into the program, though, I developed a massive blood clot that cut off circulation to my entire leg, the same leg that I had injured sliding into home plate. While Dominica was an incredible place to learn tropical and outreach medicine, it was not the best place to have a life-threatening injury. I was thrown in the back of a pickup truck and driven about 2 hours through the volcanic pass to the other side of the island, where we arrived at an adobe hut of a hospital. There, I experienced third world medicine firsthand, and I barely escaped the island alive. I was med-flighted to Puerto Rico, and I used what little Spanish skills I had to prevent me from going into an unsafe operating room and not coming home. The connections I made while working at a vascular biology lab helped facilitate my med flight home, and then became yet another recovery. This is the part of the story where I teach you the difference between stubbornness and determination. After rehabbing the leg for a year, against all advice, I returned to that very same island to finish what I had started. For a second time, fate intervened. Only a few weeks into the semester, I contracted cutaneous larva migrans, a nasty skin-burrowing parasitic infection. By the time the Student Health Center diagnosed it, I had thousands of worms swimming through every inch of my skin. I should have left to go home at that point, but again, my stubbornness allowed me to continue to push on. I went into my final exam, and unfortunately, I failed it by 1 point. That was the first test I ever failed. How could I get on that plane and come home and face family and friends as a failure? I went into a deep depression with feelings of hopelessness and PTSD from my near-death experiences on a third world island. My life felt like it was falling apart. This was my rock bottom. My leg continued to deteriorate and left me in excruciating and unrelenting pain. Up to this point, my right leg had been a lifelong burden, holding me back from fully living a life full of joy and purpose. I regressed from a vibrant, active athlete to a full-time patient unable to walk due to excruciating pain. I then faced the toughest, but ultimately the best decision of my life, to electively amputate my leg so that advanced prosthetics would hopefully be able to give me my mobility back. My husband told me, get rid of that ugly leg, and I was all set. In April of 2013, I had the leg amputated below the knee. However, as I was recovering in the hospital, the Boston Marathon bombing happened. And the staff turned their attention onto the survivors. There were more patients than staff could handle, and my delayed medical and prosthetic and rehabilitation care caused multiple complications that eventually necessitated 3 revision surgeries and me losing another 6 inches of my leg. All of the setbacks led to multiple orthopedic injuries and surgery after surgery. My last surgery was this past January. My husband worked for both of us, and we incurred unfathomable medical bills. I could feel myself changing into somebody that was held prisoner in my own body and in my own home. I decided that this fate was unacceptable, so I began the climb upward. I attended rigorous PT and OT sessions. I weaned off from all the pain medications, and I completed a comprehensive rehabilitation program. I ate clean, and I began my fitness journey. I began to tap back into that inner athlete that I knew was lying dormant inside me since I left the halls of Lynn Classical High School. I took up adaptive sports. Believe it or not, I tried surfing, rock climbing, sled hockey. I'm an avid yogi, but above all else, my favorite sport is CrossFit. I like to pick up heavy things and put them down and do it all over again. I received a grant for a running blade, and I was sponsored to go down to Dallas, Texas, to an adaptive gym that only trained adaptive athletes and wounded veterans. While in Dallas, I participated in a 9-week comprehensive military-style boot camp redefined program. I was forced to face my failures, process pent-up feelings of hurt, loss, grief, and anger. I started practicing gratitude daily. In Dallas, I was challenged to become brutally vulnerable and share my story publicly for the first time. This was truly a healing and transformative experience. My favorite researcher and author, Brené Brown, once said, "Grace means that all of your mistakes now serve a purpose instead of serving shame." I forgave myself for past mistakes and failures and gathered all the lessons learned from them. I needed to allow myself to experience grace before I can truly be grateful for my challenges. I found my strength and my confidence once again while in Texas. I experienced a handful of firsts: running and box jumps, my first Olympic lift. I even went snowboarding. I faced fears head on and learned to get comfortable being uncomfortable. For greatness occurs just one step outside your comfort zone. I saw the power of treating those with physical disabilities as whole people and not just a sum of all of their injuries. In Japanese culture, they practice the art of kintsugi pottery. When a bowl or a plate is broken, they glue the pieces together and they paint the cracks in gold to showcase the beauty of the flaws. Similarly, I see myself as imperfectly perfect and proud of the scars, for it shows the journey that I have traveled. I went out after that and got the prettiest prosthetic cover that I could find. And since that very day, I've never been ashamed to show my leg or to share my story. Don't tell my mom, but I got my first and only tattoo of the word sisu on the back of my neck. It's a Finnish word that means extraordinary determination in the face of overwhelming adversity. Transformed and inspired, I returned home to Boston to a new job at Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital, where I now manage clinical trials for those who have suffered a traumatic spinal cord injury. When I lost my leg, I felt abandoned by the ones who I thought always had my back. I turned this pain into pursuing my lifelong passion to start a social and activity group for those living with physical disabilities. I founded the nonprofit organization Adaptively Abled Amputees, whose mission is to support, educate, and inspire those living with limb loss or other physical disabilities to lead an active and fulfilling life. I recruited 60 of the top fitness and rehabilitation and holistic health professionals in New England and founded and directed Boston's very first functional fitness and holistic health program, Adaptively Abled Fitness. This program helps to bridge the gap between where rehabilitation ends and an active lifestyle begins. I graduated my first class of 10 adaptive athletes in October. In this very moment, I discovered my purpose, to use my journey to inspire and lead others. In addition to being a nonprofit director, I am also an amputee peer mentor and support group leader. Sometimes I'm the very first amputee that a new amputee meets. There is no greater reward than to stand in front of somebody and tell them confidently that they are going to be okay, that they got this, that they're not alone. We're in this together. I share with them that my amputation was my reset button. It gave me an opportunity to take a step back, to evaluate things that have happened, and to be able to move on with confidence and purpose. I have impacted the lives of people living with physical disabilities more as a leader in the adaptive community than I ever could have as a physician. I have personally cheated death multiple times, rehabilitated from 23 surgeries, and taught myself to walk again just as many times. I have made comebacks my profession. Along my journey, I have experienced the greatest levels of joy, happiness, and peace because and only because I also experienced the greatest levels of pain, heartbreak, and despair. The human body, mind, and spirit have the incredible capacity to adapt to any situation. I stand here before you, a proud, confident, plus-sized, adaptive fitness professional in Boston, a coach and a personal trainer, an internationally ranked CrossFit athlete, and a clinical research coordinator. Therefore, I am more than qualified to stand here today and tell you that we will all emerge from this stronger, braver, and more resilient. If I could overcome obstacles, so can you. I know we can overcome anything. You are equipped with everything you need to forge forward and succeed in life. I know you will muster your courage and take your first steps into the unknown, and in doing so, you will show the world how to emerge from this pandemic braver, smarter, more connected, and more resilient. There is a silver lining to the COVID-19 pandemic. The world has slowed down enough for everyone to appreciate time, stillness, friends, family, human connection, and what is truly important. It has forced us to get comfortable being uncomfortable. It has forced us to lean into the fear and to become resourceful and adapt to a new society. Appreciate this reset. This situation allows all of us to experience the grace that comes from learning from and letting go of past mistakes and failures, and using them to fuel the fire, dig deep, muster that grit, and bravely and confidently forge a new way forward. I can promise you that this is not the biggest life challenge that you will face, and that you are going to fail more often than you ever could have imagined. When faced with failure, allow yourself to sit with and fully express all of the feelings that come with it: anger, sadness, pain, shame. Lean into that discomfort. Allow yourself to experience the healing power of grace, forgiveness, and self-compassion. Affirm to yourself that you are strong, brilliant, resilient, and an all-around badass that is going to emerge from this stronger. Then get gritty and ascend that next mountain, whatever it may be. In time, you will begin to truly be thankful for your challenges, your obstacles, and your failures. For they have and will continue to mold you into the strongest, most resilient, and beautiful versions of yourself. Nelson Mandela said that it always seems impossible until it is done. Now go celebrate this moment, this monumentous occasion. Celebrate your gifts, celebrate your challenges, celebrate your talents in the world, and make the impossible possible. Thank you.
Bianca Acevedo. Mickey Acosta Acosta. Julia Aguilar Morales. Hussein Al-Maliki. Taha Al-Rubaye. Yassine Al-Rubaye. Sofani Al-Sendor. Ivana Alessio. Rahima Al-Hatami. Anna Marie Alaconis. Sean Anderson. Leonardo Aquino. Gabriela Arevalo Echeverria. Aldair Arevalo Garmendia. Kimberly Argueta Guardado. Andrea Argumedo. Kimberly Arriaga. Luis Ariaza. Dora Ariola Ramirez. Efosa Asirua. Andrew Astucio. Olivier Lionel Audate. Johelitz Aviles. Alexander Aviles Ortega. Ibrahima Ba. Saul Bamaka Bakzezuma. Oscar Barahona Reyes. Eva Barrios Lopez. Angelita Barrios Perez. Stephanie Barrios Robles. Ike Bautista. Genesis Beato. Zachary Bellevue. Leandra Santos. Catherine Benitez Huete. Kenneth Bolduc. Alexis Braemiller. Kristen Brazil. Rachel Brennan. Jordan Brito. Idiana Mercedes Brito. Abigail Brown. Mackenzie Brunette. Isabel Rosamolin. Sapreya Booth. Charlene Cahill. Sam Calabresi. Tyler Carmody. Kevin Carranza. Pedro Carranza. Kerwin Cartagena Nunes, Mary Castro de la Rosa, Ociel Castro Macario, Gabriel Sanchez, Kylie Serta, Edinson Cespedes, Lydia Chan, Matthew Chan, Stephanie Chan, Sophia Chow, Bellarmino Chavez Chavez, Erwin Chavez Mendez, Selena Chia, Rhea Check, Aaliyah Cherry Manuel, Jade Cintron, Jolene Siriaco Kaplan, Casey Clement, Juliana Cordair, Laismar Colmenares Silva, Amber Creighton, Miguel Crespin Aquino, Giselle Cruz Castillo, Felix de los Santos, Kevin Cruz Hernandez, Amanda Dago, Derek Don, Danielis de Jesus Sosa, Andy De Leon, Raymond De Leon, Talia D'Amelio, Jared DeFilippo, Rosmally de la Cruz Paredes, Dominic DeLeo, Brian DeLeon, Gerson DeLeon, Selvin DeLeon Matul, Grace Rosalie de Sahula, Mushfik Drubo, Diana Diaz, Ashley Diaz Arahu, Genesis Diaz Soto, Pamela Valario, Darian Din, Ryan Doe, Julio Dominguez Jr., Ronald Dominic, David Doucette, Aiden Dow, Michael Downing, Shannon Dunnigan, Corsha Dunwoody, Kyle Duong, Ryanel Ian, Kiara Edmonds, Janice Emiliano, Stephanie Espada, Hazel Espinal, Clara Esteban Esteban, Brian Esteban Gomez, Nayeli Estrella, Sebastian Xavier, Kate Fannin, Talia Fegan, Giancarlos Feliciano Rivera, Krista Figueroa Serrano, Christian Flores, Diana Flores, Diana Flores, Daphne Lanza, Jamie Fuentes Reyes, Jaden Galarza, Jean Galdames, Angel Galiotakis, Jason Garcia, Kaylee Garcia, Victor Garcia, Hugo Garcia Chun, Ariani Garcia Cotes, Michael Garcia Reyes, Jordan Gardner, Skylar George, Ava Georgines, Jessica Germano, Daniel Jasono, Vanilda Mendez, Grace Gomez, Jimmy Gomez, Josue Gomez, Fernando Gomez Godinez, Kenneth Gonzalez, Maxwell Gonzalez, Victoria Grady, Jennifer Guandique Sabillo, Manuel Guerrero, Ariana Guillen, Jean Gupton, Valerie Gutierrez Guzman, Carlos Hernandez Barrios, Diane Hernandez Hueso, Hector Hernandez Melendez, Isael Hernandez Navar, Orobosa Igbenovia, Miles Ianu, Evelyn Iraeta, Daniel Iraola II, Alexander Ixla Teo, Rafael Jablonski, Taliana Jean Charles, Kelsey Jimenez, Carlos Alberto Jimenez Aguilan, Juan Jimenez Lopez, Jose Jimenez Ramos, Alexander Doxomovich, Oladeji Jalaso, Eunice Juarez Rodas, Jonathan Jacino, Aminata Camara, Theodore Camarinos, Isa Kamulegaya, Azim Kazmi Dazan, Chloe Kebrew, Christopher Kelly Jr., Pharaoh Kia, Victor King, Darren Kong, Michael Lamb, Jacob Lang, Ryan Lang, Kyla Lang, Eamon LaRusi, Gerlins Laurent, Chi Lee, Gabriella Lejeune, Matthew Leonard, Jasmine Levesque, Susanna Lewis, Anna Lopez, Crystal Lopez, Francisco Lopez Chavez, Wilson Lopez Chavez, Jose Lopez Funes, Wilbert Lopez Funes, Diego Lopez III,
Martha Lopez Nolasco, Yari Lopez Ovale, Jeffrey Lopez De Leon, Tommy Lore, Dashley Loridan, Blanca Lucas Cap, Oluwatubi Lugo, Nathaniel Lee, Carlos Macario Miona, Brian Maldonado, Dusan Merrick, Isael Marquez, Jasa Marshall, Hanifa Maswali, Maria Mateo Duran, Davy Mateo Bena, Frazier Matul Lopez, Kristen Matul Talk, Salvin Mauricio Marita, Jasmine Mazariegos Mejia, Kyle McCarthy, Isabel McGaughy, Maeve McHale, Brendan McKenna, Zachary McKenna, Jason McKenna Jr., Daniel Mejia, Justin Mejia, Stephen Mejia Garcia, Daniela Mejia Gonzalez, Eric Mejia Rodriguez, Jesus Mendez, Stacy Mendez, Susili Mendez Lopez, Christopher Mendez Mendez, David Mendez Romero, Hudson Mazador, Tyler Miller, Fernando Molina Eligio, Prabeen Mongor, Janelle Monks, Anthony Montez, Haley Moore, Brian Morales, Jonathan Morales, Ramir Morales, Yaco Morales, William Moran III, Caitlin Morm Sui, Malik Moi, Vicleen Nana, Magdalena Needham, Timothy Nerick, William Nett, Alexander Nguyen, Wee Nguyen, Kevin Nguyen, Kai Nguyen, Felicity Nim, Michael Nicosia, Bertine Noel, Wilson Nolasco Lopez, Harim Nolasco Perez, Jose Nolasco Perez, Raynel Valerio, Megan O'Brien, Xiomara Ochoa Ortiz, Class President Balaji Odusanya, Olivia Ojo, Zainab Okiram, David Okoro, Caleb Orcel, Isabella Orozco, Betsabe Orozco Juarez, Yurixa Ortiz Rodriguez, Vanessa Oscar, Christopher Oak, Jocelyn Oval Lopez, Gustavo Oval Zacarias, Abigail Owori, Sarah Pacheco, Casey Padilla, Mauricio Padilla Velasquez, Aurelis Pedro Colon, Tony Palavra, Kevin Paniagua, Mary Powell, Julia Pero, Julissa Paz, Christopher Pena, Jamir Pena, Marilyn Purcell, Gianna Paradina, Maximus Perez, Priscilla Perez Lopez, James Petipas, Christopher Pa, Haley Pat, Timothy Frasavayong, Hannah Pai, Feber Pimentel Gonzalez, Lucy Pimentel Jimenez, Jonathan Pimentel Jr., Susan Pineda Flores, Karen Plites Orlana, Dason Pojoy Lopez, Josie Portillo Gonzalez, Freddy Portillo Jr., Slani Porterreal Vicicio, Shweka Pradhan, Victor Quadros Jr., Kevin Quiones Morales, Eusebio Quintana III, Pratim Raj, Giovanna Ramirez, Nelson Ramirez Saavedra, Haley Ramos, Luke Rayo, Chanceline Ramadi, Jacob Reyes, Marvin Reyes Rodriguez, Anijah Roden, Josiris Rios Padilla, Brenda Rivas Lemus, John Robles Jr., Ashley Robles Ortiz, Aaliyah Rock, Samantha Rodas Ariaza, Armani Rodriguez, Destiny Rodriguez, Joshayla Rodriguez, Laisha Rodriguez, Victor Rodriguez, Sofiangis Rodriguez Gonzalez, Marioli Rodriguez Ramirez, Adrian Rung, Juan Rojas Guanumen, Peyton Romaine, Dasiv Roy, Bethany Russell, Guy St. Hilaire, Ali Salem, Angel Sanchez Colado, Cheyenne Sang, Angel Santana, Danielle Santina Batista, Kristen Santillian, Dioscori Santos, Justin Savio, Maurice Sicaria, Joseph Severe, Michaela Shanks, Alexandra Shao, Melina Sim, Caitlin Reed, Christian Reed, Damien Sock, Erica Solis, Mario Sodello Jr., Brandon Summers, Sebastian Tavares, Kyle Tejeda, Christopher Toulousma, Mon Tabet, Shayla Thatch, Nerede Tet, Damian Tiburcio, Tina Till, George Tithy, Karen Tithy, Hexer Toledo Medina, Leslie Torres, Shalise Torres, Giulianis Torres, Jason Tronoxco Franco, Esmeralda Umana Aguirre, Mario Umana Lopez, Chris Urena Jr., Robin Vargas German, Jack Viana, Jonathan Villalobos, Marina Villanueva, John Villa Rodriguez, Joey Wang, Erica Washington, Wilgride Wesh, Zachary Weston, Kate Wheeler, Tyler White, Nicholas Worf Jr., Amanda Wilkins, Emily Wiley, Shantae Williams, Kevin Woods, Christian Zavala, Christopher Zelaya, Elizabeth Zoria de la Rosa, Samuel Zorilla de la Rosa.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Classical's graduating class of 2020.
Classical class of 2020, it is now time to turn your tassel from right to left.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Congratulations!
That is one thing that I love most about this school, the personal relationship and the personal connections that I've made here at Classical.
My favorite memory of the last 4 years of high school was doing swim team and meeting all the amazing people on there.
Everyone, it's Chloe. I just want to say that my favorite memory in high school would definitely be when I got to go see Hamilton in 11th grade. I'm so grateful for this experience that Miss Hanson was able to give us, and I'll never forget it.
The Watson Christmas movie.
Hi guys, I just want to say hi and want to give a shout out to my favorite teachers. They're Mr. Elshite and Mr. Ham. They always help me out and they always inspire me to do great things, and I just want to say I miss you guys so much.
It's Rachel. My favorite memory from high school is definitely AP Micro with Mr. Johnson. We had a lot of fun in that class and we learned a lot, and I never thought I'd really enjoy economics.
My favorite memory from Lynn Classical was when I took a trip to Europe with Miss Dormady in the AP European History class my junior year.
3 of my favorite moments of classical. Swimming. It showed me what it's like to have a family as a team. Coach program made my life way happier, taking all my problems away every time one of the kids smiled. Youth Alive Club helped me make more friends and learn more about my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Love you guys.
So we talked all night about the rest of our lives, where we're gonna be when we turn 25. I keep thinking times will never change. Keep on thinking things will always be the same. But when we leave this year, we won't be coming back. No more hanging out 'cause we're on a different track. And if you got something that you need to say, you better say it right now, 'cause you don't have another day. 'Cause we're moving on and we can't slow down. These memories are playing like a film without sound. And I keep thinking of the night in June. I didn't know much of love, but it came too soon. And there was me and you, and then we got real blue. Stay at home talking on the telephone, and we would get so excited and we'd get so scared, laughing at ourselves thinking life's not fair. And this is how it feels. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever. So if we get the big jobs and we make the big money, when we look back now, will our jokes still be funny? Will we still remember everything we learned in school? Still be trying to break every single rule? Will little brainy Bobby be the stockbroker man? Can he ever find a job that won't interfere with the tan? I keep thinking that it's not goodbye. Keep on thinking it's our time to fly. And this is how it feels. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever. Friends forever. Will we think about tomorrow like we think about now? Can we survive it out there? Can we make it somehow? I guess I thought that this would never end, and suddenly it's like we're women and men. Will the past be a shadow that will follow us round? Will these memories fade when I leave this town? I keep thinking that it's not goodbye. I keep on thinking it's our time to fly. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. would've told me, babe, that someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of these good old days.
I was thinking about the band, I was thinking about the fans. We were underground, loading merch in that 12-passenger van, in a small club in Minnesota, and the snow outside of First Ave. I just wanted my name and a star. Now look at where we at, still growing up, still growing up. I would lay in my bed and dream about what I'd become. Couldn't wait to get older, couldn't wait to be some. Now that I'm here, wishing I was still young. Those good old days.
I wish somebody would've told me, babe, that someday these would be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Cause someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of the good old days.
Wish I didn't think I had the answers. Wish I didn't drink all of that glass first. Wish I made it to homecoming, got up the courage to ask her. Wish I would've gotten out of my shell. Wish I put the bottle back on that shelf. Wish I wouldn't have worried about what other people thought and felt comfortable with myself. Rooftop open, and the stars above. Moment frozen, sneaking out and falling in love. Me, you, and that futon, we just begun. On the grass dreaming, figuring out who I was. Those good old days.
I wish somebody would've told me, babe, that someday these would be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Cause someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of the good old days.
Never thought we'd get old. Maybe we're still young. Maybe you always look back and think it was better than it was. Maybe these are the moments. Maybe I've been missing what it's about. Been scared of the future, thinking about the past while missing out on now. We've come so far, I guess I'm proud. And I ain't worried about the wrinkles around my smile. I got some scars, I've been around. I felt some pain, I've seen some things, but I'm here now. Those good old days.
You don't know what you got till it goes, till it's gone. You don't know what you got till it goes, till it's gone. I wish somebody would've told me, babe, someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of these good old days.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through, that I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place.
How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I would do, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way
long way
from where we began.
You know we started.
Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
Let me tell you.
When I see you again.
First you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling strong. And what's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond. And that bond will never be broken, the love will never get lost. And when brotherhood come first, then the line will never be crossed. Established it on our own when that line had to be drawn. And that line is what we reach, so remember me when I'm gone.
How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side. And now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
Let the light guide your way. Yeah. Hold every memory as you go, and every road you take will always lead you home. Oh, it's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.